Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? It's your boys again, Deep Thought 9.
Isaiah the Illustrator.
Carlos the Taylor.
And we're back with another episode of Good Medicine. If you don't mind, guys, I would like to just jump right on in.
Yeah, let's do that.
We had a conversation a little while ago about our faith. And we were talking about some of the challenges that we come across having conversations with people who don't necessarily believe like we believe. Mm-hmm. And so some of the challenges we run into are the passive-aggressive nature of how people like to kind of take shots at your faith and what you believe. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to open up with this, like, how do you debate your faith with people? Like, is it appropriate to debate your faith with people, or when you get into conversations, like, what's your stance on that?
I've learned this from Devon. I learned this from your dad. Mm-hmm. That like, I learned from him that when somebody comes at you about what's true and what's not about biblical things, mm-hmm. then you have to establish a premise on the front end. Like, okay, so are we going to debate? Are we debating the topic, or are we debating the truth? What's our base? Mm-hmm. We got to operate from a base. So if we're gonna
have an anchor, so to speak.
So if we're gonna operate from a base, if we're gonna operate, if the premise of the debate is I'm right and you're wrong, we can't do that. That's not going to be of any substance. Right. That's just you against me.
Yeah, that's not going to edify anybody in the conversation.
Yeah, right. So if it's not going to be in that basis, let's talk. I learned that from him, because when I got the crazy part, what got me into Christianity, because Christianity was presented to me by somebody just made it make sense. Mm-hmm. So when I became a Christian, I just said it just made sense to me. It didn't make sense to not be. So I moved with my head on a lot of things I did. Like I look for the debate. When you get so happy when you accept Christ, you get ready to talk about it, you're ready to spread it, where you get that fire. Mm-hmm. And so after time, I learned that in my fire, I was browbeating people with the Bible. Mm. And so when I got that revelation, I thought, okay, so I need to quell myself back. So now my compass for the quote unquote debates is, first of all, like I said, what's the anchor? What's going to be where are we going to do this from? Mm. And then, am I going to do this? Before I say anything, I say, what I'm about to say, is it trigger? Is it the same trigger that if a dog sees somebody run, they chase, mm-hmm. like a passing car? Or am I speaking from a standpoint or place where I really care about the truth being told? So am I defending myself, or am I trying to defend Christ? And even sometimes the debate might get to a place where, do I even need to defend Christ? Mm-hmm. So that's I do that in my mind all the time before I say anything. And like, for example, when people say stuff around me that's like, well, we all know that you can put Christ on anything. Christ is like barbecue sauce, makes everything good.
Like cheddar makes it better.
That's right. But when people say stuff that pull on you, like, oh, like you're right there. I could say something about Christ that would be so befitting for you, but I know you don't believe. Mm-hmm. But you ask me a question. Mm-hmm. I always say, do you really want to know how I feel? Let's start there. Do you really want to know? Do you really want to know what I have to say? Do you really want to know that? Mm-hmm. And sometimes they say no. I say, I respect that. I don't go further than that. But I ask them, do you want to know how I feel? And so another thing is that mm-hmm. I think the society has done this thing. There's this thing in society, this little evil little bacteria called my truth. It's a bacteria because what it does is it says that there's no absolute truth. So as an individual, I own my truth. So my truth is owned by me. There's no truth greater than my truth. You have yours, I have mine. I operate myself by my truth. So there is no absolute truth. Mm-hmm. And that's a trap that I think people who are not believers will get you in. And when you get in that truth, when you start getting into the my truth, your truth place, you lose yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like a rope-a-dope. You lose yourself in that thing.
It brings a sense of peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes me think about the discussion we had on honesty a couple of weeks ago, when it's kind of like, men love the dark.
Yeah.
So they will use phrases like, this is my truth, in order to frame their world, because in their world, they want to be able to do what it is that they want to do, or feel the way that they want to feel, or validate or invalidate whoever or whatever it is that they want, as long as it's associated with them. Whereas if you're walking as a Christian, according to Christian teachings and principles and doctrine, whatever you want to call it, walking according to the Bible, then your standard now becomes external instead of internal. You know what I'm saying? It's not intrinsic anymore. It's purely extrinsic.
Yes.
And so what you're doing is you're bringing all thoughts and all imaginations and all conversations that you're having under the subjectivity of Christ, or like the scripture says, in the captivity of Christ.
Yeah.
Everything, you're measuring everything according to that standard. And even we as Christians are still trying to figure out how to do that on an effective, pure basis. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people who don't believe like we believe, it's because of that perfect imperfection that it makes it difficult for them to kind of go along, because they feel like in order for it to be real to them, they need to find somebody who is doing it all I's dotted, all T's crossed, when the foundation of our faith is that we don't have to be perfect because Christ was perfect.
Right.
Yeah. And it's kind of like they get lost in that. So when I'm having conversations with people, I've relegated to myself never to debate right or wrong. Like, I'm never going to get into a conversation, and I'm not a very confrontational person to begin with, but I very in the situations that I have been in, even with my own relatives, I always take a stance where it's never about right or wrong. And I learned this from Pastor too, but anytime we're talking about Christ, we're talking about a life or death situation, whether you have life or whether you don't. You understand what I'm saying? Yep. And so, but respecting people's freedom to make that choice, and it's difficult because, like I've heard Dave Ramsey say, it's very difficult to see people do dumb stuff. The people that you care about.
Yeah.
And when you because I feel like in order for me to follow it, I believe that this is the truth. You understand what I'm saying? So yes, I do believe that this is right, but I have to toe the line between forcing what I feel is right onto you versus allowing you to make that choice for yourself. And that's the thin line that I try to walk. And so sometimes I'll beat myself up when I leave a conversation, because I'm like, man, I had an opportunity to share something with this person, but I didn't want to come off as, you living wrong, da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. So I guess, like, can you perfect the art of passive witnessing? Like, is that what you would call it? Like, would you call it that?
I don't know, but I tell you what, like, I've seen your dad in action, and he's very skilled at making the point of Christ and not making people feel incriminating. He's very good at it, and I don't know how he does it, but he's just really eloquent with it. And I used to, I'd watch him do it, and I've heard him have conversations with people like that, and I just marvel at it, just go, wow, and I think he does it from a vein of like he does this good counter argument thing. He's really good with counter arguments. Yeah. So it's like for the person who would say my truth, he might say something like, how many times have you seen your truth not go according to your truth? Like how many times have you seen it fallible? Is your truth infallible?
Right.
And then he'd go with that, and they can whatever they admit to.
They would respond, if they're being honest.
Yeah.
And
then he goes in with, because see, but the Bible says, that we are born fallible, so it's okay to be fallible. So the Bible didn't say that once you're in Christ, you're totally right. No. That's not the case. So he sets it up like that, and it works. And he's just able to do it so eloquently.
Yeah. I think a big thing is, I think one of y'all mentioned it earlier, not trying to come off as right or, not appear wrong in the conversation, because if there's anything we learn from Jesus Christ, it's he knew when not to answer back, even if it would make him look right. And he could, if anybody could argue his point, it was Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But, you see him before the crucifixion laying down his life. He could have shut up all the accusers, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Why? Because of the heart behind, where his heart was at the time. It was not about him appearing as
then it was about
justified.
The passion itself.
Yeah, right.
Like the goal in hand that he had to accomplish too. So that I think that's major. It makes me think of a scene from Naruto.
The
when,
best revelation.
Right, yeah. when I've been watching Naruto reruns lately. And so the scene where Guy was fighting the taijutsu user from the Hidden Sand, and he remembered the training that he got from not Guy, Rock Lee was fighting the taijutsu user. He remembered a training that he got from Guy about how to use your movements in order to make your opponent do certain things. And so when you mention how Pastor has the ability to ask questions in a certain way to bring you to a certain answer.
Yeah.
Like that's the skill that he has. And I'm like, that's what I want to be able to master.
Right. Yeah.
To be able to strategically ask questions in the way that you ask the question causes the person to come to a certain conclusion.
Yeah.
And once they come to that conclusion, then you have them in a place where you can witness Christ to them. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a wrestling match.
No, not at all.
And it's not a tactic to win them. That's not the even point of it. It's just the way he does it. He does it in such a way that you understand. Okay, because I'm interested in truth as much as you are. We are all seeking truth.
Yeah.
But in your seeking truth, have you considered this?
Yeah, it's like the question that I would say. You tell somebody, why would you go to sin? I mean, why would you go to hell with your sins paid for?
Yeah.
And most people are like, they're like nuggets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
what I noticed about my dad is he's very matter of fact. He's not full with emotions or feelings a whole lot. So he just goes.
You sound like you're speaking from experience.
Right?
Well, just knowing him, he's very clear cut and to the point. He doesn't like to beat around the bush with stuff.
No.
And he'll hardly entertain getting off the point or the path, I guess.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it sounds like when you describe it. It's like, okay, he looks at everything, tries to look at everything objectively, and that's all it is. And I think the issue with debating is it's often so emotionally charged.
Yeah, it's subjective. Most people come from a subjective experience. Yeah. And so keeping the objective, the focus is the most successful debaters and lawyers are good at making sure that people don't forget what the objective is, what it is we're really talking about here. All the other stuff is fluff.
Right.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
to me
the conversation.
To me, a debate is trying to prove one side. But truth is found in both sides. I think if you really, a debate is not about seeking truth. It's about making one side.
Yeah, that's what
it's about. Swaying people to one side or the other. Taking the affirmative or the negative. Like they do in most debates. So.
But as far as speaking about the faith of witnessing, well, for one, something I heard from my friend many times is that witnessing for Christ is simply like being a witness in court. It's testifying to what you saw and what you've experienced. It's not about trying to make somebody believe it. It's just they call you up to say, what did you see?
Yes.
And that's it.
That's true. That's true.
So it's not even fair then? Would you say it's not even fair to make faith put it in a debate arena?
Right.
I think it's not even fair to put it in a.
I think it's unfair if you put it in the debate, right or wrong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I think there are some issues that some people need clarity on within the faith.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with debating those, you having those conversations, because now you're getting into the iron sharpens iron type of deal. One man sharpen another, because there might be something that I'm not clear about, but if I'm having a conversation with my brothers about it, like what we often do on this show, then it brings a different perspective, and a lot of times it can bring clarity to what it is that you're trying to gain understanding from, due to the fact that you're having conversations and getting people's perspectives from it. It's like reading the 4 Gospels at the same time.
Yeah.
It's the same story, but you got different perspectives depending on where people were.
Yeah.
You know, one person, like John, was right up on Jesus. He was close to Jesus.
There's a doctor.
All of that, man. And so it's just, it's good to be able to have, I think, those conversations about the faith. But not, it becomes difficult when you're talking about your faith with people who don't believe like you believe.
Yeah,
you know
and then another thing that you have to be aware of is that they try to put you in a place where they want to put you in a place where you come up like you believe what you believe just because.
Yeah.
You have to know why you believe. You have to know where the beliefs come from, what they're based out of.
You know, that used to happen to me a lot, believe it or not, by my own family members. Like, especially when I was young in the faith, and I really started learning who Christ was for myself, and I would try to share things, and they would be like, well, who taught you that? Like, that would be their response. Like, I can't go and learn this on my own. Who did you learn? Somebody taught you that. Don't just take, and their thing was, don't just try to take that for face value. But the root of it is that because it didn't line up with what they believed, it had to be
a personal source.
Yeah, like a personal source. You know what I'm saying? And the truth of it is that the things that they believed, they were taught from somebody, and they hadn't gone back and read the truth for themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So that was one of the things that, you know, kind of made me think and attach myself to the ministry that I'm attached to now, is because Pastor would always say, don't just take my word for it.
Yes.
Go back, study it, read it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then if there's something that you don't understand or that you have questions about, then come back. We can talk about it. We can debate it. You know what I'm saying? And it was never the thing of, you know, I'm right, everybody need to get like me. That was never has, you know, never will be the case. But it was definitely one of those things, was like, you know, hey, don't just listen to me now. I'm just a man. I can get it wrong. So go back and read it for yourself, that kind of deal. And I think that's kind of what build the strong foundation or support that I have when I do have conversations with people, because I'm not just talking off the top of my head. Everything that I say, there is a reference that I can go to to support what it is that's been said.
That's why I like 1 Peter 3 and 15 and 16, where he says, but sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, and always be ready to give a defense to everyone who asks you a reason for the hope that is in you.
Right.
With meekness and fear or respect, having a good conscience, that when they defame you as evildoers, those who revile your good conduct in Christ may be ashamed. Because earlier he was talking about, you know, don't suffer for evil's sake, but suffer for righteousness' sake. Always live a way that's blameless, as it were. You know, so even when they do try to defame you or you know, don't give them a foothold to argue against the truth that's in you. You know,
talks about that whole do the end justify the mean thing. Like, it's hard to take somebody's word when you're looking at their actions and like, I can't really get behind you because of what you're doing. The whole actions speak louder than words.
And to me, that it's like, that's what makes it so much more than about having ideas and trying to be right. Because I feel like so many Christians are always just sitting around studying in order to win an argument, as opposed to studying that they might be changed and become righteous. you know, and it's more about, like, I have the right ideas and words to argue against somebody who will say something, rather than this needs to change me and how I walk and how I live.
Well, I think the word is one of those, because it's a living book, that it has the ability to take somebody who's coming to it for the wrong reason,
for sure,
and convert them. You know, you think about C.S. Lewis, you know, who's an atheist, and he went to the Bible to try to disprove it. Like, I'm going to pick this thing apart to try to disprove it. And then he ended up converting himself or being converted in his study. Like, man, this stuff is too well put together for anybody to be able to refute it. So it's just amazing, man. But I just think, and especially in this day and age, with some of the people that we come across and some of the situations that we're put in as believers, that it's one of those, I don't necessarily want to call it a skill, but it's definitely something that we need to be prepared for. Mm-hmm. Like the scripture you referenced, the 1 John 3:15-16, to have an answer for the hope that lies within you. Yeah. To be able to tell people. Yeah, I mean, 1 Peter, you're right. To be able to share with people, why it is that we believe what we believe, but be able to come from a place of love and respect, not from a place of condemnation, trying to drop the hammer on somebody. Because that'll turn people away faster than anything else that you do. So, big ups to Pastor, who has influenced us heavily. There's only one way to follow up a conversation like that, and that's with another Taylorism. So, with me and Devon we're gonna agree to do something, Devon. I'm gonna ask you. I can't just make you agree. Yeah. But we're gonna let Carlos get his Taylorism completely out. Okay. Before we make any attempt to dismantle it. Okay. All right.
I don't come to the Taylorisms to try to dismantle it.
It just kind of seems like it's been a running theme as of late.
That is not that's not why I'm here.
So we're gonna turn the floor over to you, Mr. Taylor.
I do believe this time that you will agree. Okay. Like, I know it's rare, but I do believe this time you're going to agree with me.
It's not rare.
Let you say your piece.
Oh, yeah, it's rare.
It's just
it's rare like a good piece of steak. It's rare.
It's just sometimes you step out on a branch that we can't go out on. You understand what I'm saying? So, but go ahead. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay. So, there's this thing in our society, in this modern day age, where we're so advanced, with our palates are exposed to some wonderful things. There are things that are constructs that we are exposed to from other cultures. There are other tastes out there. There's so many good tastes
out
there.
Some good ones, yeah. Some great ones.
Okay, so, but there's a menace among us. Have you ever seen kudzu? You know how kudzu just grows everything and takes it over? Uh-huh. Yeah. Pumpkin spice is a kudzu of our society.
Pumpkin spice?
Pumpkin spice. Let me tell you something. I went to the grocery store. This is what came to me. I went to the grocery store one day. And I said, first of all, pumpkin spice, I'm repelled from it. I don't like the taste. Pumpkin spice is nasty. To me, pumpkin spice should never happen. Okay? It's nasty. Okay, so I gave myself an assignment. I said, when I go to this grocery store, I want to see how many times I see iterations of pumpkin spice. I go to the cereal aisle, where oatmeal is, it's pumpkin spice oatmeal. Mm-hmm. I go down the bread aisle, and I love the bread aisle, I do.
Did you mash it?
I will not say. So, I saw pumpkin spice bread. I
know you mashed it.
Had to.
That's all.
You know what?
General principle.
Pumpkin spice bread mashes itself. So I go to the dairy aisle. I go to dairy, and there's pumpkin spice yogurt. People, there has to be a stop. There has to be a stop to this. They're gonna do pumpkin spice diapers next.
That's not too far out of range.
Save yourself.
I just
pumpkin spice coffee,
candles.
Yeah,
they do make pumpkin spice creamer and stuff like that.
Where is the end, people? Where is the end? We're gonna have pumpkin spice Bibles, pumpkin spice preachers. We got pumpkin spice congregations. The pumpkin spice ministry has to stop. The pumpkin spice Bible be for lukewarm Christians. They'll read the pumpkin spice Bible.
Oh my gosh!
Where does it stop, people? Where does it stop? This whole topic is pumpkin spice.
Literally.
How do you feel about the pumpkin spice business?
I can honestly say, without a shadow of a doubt, as long as I've been on this earth, that I have never tasted pumpkin spice.
Really?
Nor should you.
I've never had it. So I have no idea whether it's actually good or bad.
So
now I do know that it's seasonal.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't hang around enough wonderful people to know.
So well, it's funny enough, my girlfriend is the one who let me try pumpkin spice latte for the first time. And it don't taste, I mean, I'm not a coffee guy anyway.
Yeah.
It don't taste terrible. But I will agree with Carlos and say that it is like kudzu, and it's getting worse every year.
Right, it's like infiltrating. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the most ridiculous thing I've seen as it relates to pumpkin spice. Is I saw an article, the same place I see all my articles on social media, where somebody had made pumpkin spice macaroni and cheese.
I saw that. Kev on stage with it.
Yes. Deservedly so.
Deservedly so.
First of all, I agree with him when there are some recipes that you just should not mess with.
Don't mess with macaroni.
Do not mess with macaroni and cheese. It is
ain't nothing wrong
the
with
most sacred of holiday meal
trying to fix something
side dishes out there.
I can't even sit down.
And you gonna add pumpkin spice?
Why?
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, it's like they're subvertising pumpkin spice. They're trying to make it seem like that we can't live during the holiday season from October to basically January, because you get it from through the fall months all the way up to and through Christmas, I believe.
Yeah.
At least Thanksgiving, I know.
They try to make Jesus white and try to make us like pumpkin spice. It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Same people.
The same people did this.
Whoever those people are.
People.
I can honestly say that pumpkin spice has never been in my home, especially as an adult. I see it on shelves all the time, and I've never been interested in trying because I'm not a pumpkin person. Like, I'm a sweet potato guy.
There's it.
All right.
You know
Luther
what I'm saying?
Vandross said the house not a home. A house not a home if it has pumpkin spice in it. That's real. That's R&B, bro. That's real.
It's R&B.
That's R&B. It's on R&B, bro. That's real.
No, it's true.
That's real.
That's what R&B. That's what R&B stands for. That's real, bro.
Yeah, it is. So, okay. So to end this discussion, can we agree that pumpkin spice is actually pumpkin spice? Because punks eat that stuff.
I don't know if I can personally go that far.
No.
But I am going to tell you what I believe.
Come with me. Come with me. Join me.
I cannot do that.
Carlos the Tailor telling you to join him is one of the most dangerous statements you could ever hear. You must proceed with caution. But I am telling you, like, honestly, in order for me to be able to give a valid opinion on the pumpkin spice menace,
You have to taste it.
I have to taste it.
Okay,
I have to try it.
So between now and next podcast, you experience pumpkin spice. You experience that. You come your punk by the beer. And let's debate at that point. I have experienced pumpkin spice. It should never happen.
I do not agree that all people are punks who take
pumpkin spice. I can't go that far. I can't do that.
Spice.
However, I want to be able to give a true
testimony.
answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
About whether or not pumpkin spice is truly a scourge. Now,
in your heart.
I can say that I see it everywhere, and it has gotten worse and worse.
It's crazy.
Every year, you know. I mean, to the point to where it's ridiculous.
It's very
ridiculous. What I'm saying? So now I have to figure out what medium I want to try pumpkin spice in.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
there's plenty to choose from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do I want to eat bread? Do I want to drink coffee? Do I want to have a pumpkin spice milkshake?
See,
all that kind of stuff.
I think we're moving to an age where the next election is we're gonna have a pumpkin spice party and a pumpkin spice candidate. It's happening. It's coming. Okay, it's coming.
Hey, you already know who the pumpkin spice candidate is going to be. It's going to be lemongrass.
Unacceptable!
This is unacceptable!
Oh,
That'd be lemon spice.
Oh my goodness.
that was good. That was real good. That was real good. Okay, this is the first Taylorism in a long time I feel good about leaving my life.
You feel all right about that?
I was not under undue
No,
attack.
you weren't, and it was pretty good.
Yeah. With no pumpkin spice to it.
Them Taylorisms are hit or miss.
No.
Not for him.
Not for him.
Not for him.
You missed the hits.
I missed the hits.
You missed the hits.
I think the hits missed me.
You missed me right now.
Oh, don't do that.
So, since we're talking about pumpkin spice, we very rarely go down the food road on our podcast, other than debating stuff like what's a burger and it's piece of grilled cheese with
it certainly is not.
on it. But we're not going there right now. It's not what we're doing. I want to go down a route of your guilty pleasure meal, like the one meal that if it shows up, if somebody is serving it, you gotta have
Everyone commits to lusting in their mind.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? I think we're just talking about it. I don't think anybody's gonna leave here and be like, man, I'm going to get that. But that one meal that you have to have.
I got this one.
All right, let's start with Carlos.
I am trying
I think I already know what yours is.
to lose weight. I'm trying. I exercise. I exercise restraint in my meals. But I'm gonna tell you something. I cannot pass by Popeyes without feeling like I feel like I'm Judas. Like I want to kiss the face of Popeye. Like
Kiss the grease.
yes. Let me tell you something. Like my guilty pleasure meal is for me to go to Popeyes, and I feel so guilty about it. I go to the drive-thru and I go inside. I want somebody to see me getting this. I get a 10-piece, and I eat eight in one setting.
Oh my gosh.
No biscuits, no sides,
No
me and
regrets.
chicken, the whole box.
First of all, there's no way you eat 8 pieces of Popeye's chicken if you're eating biscuits at the same time. You can't do it. You gotta have a gallon of water.
I know.
You gotta soak that biscuit up.
So to keep the fried chicken vein pure, I eat 8 out of 10, and then an hour later eat the other 2. Because I feel like because I feel like I'm all the way in sin if I eat
All the way in sin.
I want to be all the way.
You just dip your foot in.
I feel like it's a better.
Really, like for real.
I feel like
So eight is okay.
I know, right?
No, it's not. But I feel like I don't malign my Christian witness.
With 10 pieces of chicken.
Yes.
Carlos, I'm here to tell you,
Bruh.
there is now therefore no condemnation
To those who eat 8 pieces.
to those who eat 10.
pieces.
To those who eat 10. As long as you're in Christ Jesus, brother. And you okay with your cholesterol levels?
Right.
You said Christ Jesus or Christ greases.
That's probably what you
Christ grease us.
He is greasing us. That's him. That's him. Oh man. Okay, all right. So I'm next. My guilty pleasure meal is actually not a complete meal, but it's like a piece of a meal.
Mm-hmm.
It falls on the realm of Chinese food.
Ooh.
Okay. First of all, fried rice is
It's
ridiculous.
just perfect.
Yes.
It is
It
perfect.
is, it is ridiculous. But side rice, I said side rice. Fried rice is the side compared to probably the most unhealthiest form of seafood you could ever consume. And that is the coconut shrimp.
Oh
my God.
Oh yeah.
Especially when it's fresh.
Mm.
Oh man, I could just turn the you know what I'm saying? Whoever invented coconut shrimp God bless them.
Blessing upon that.
Oh my God. It is, I will go, and you can only get it at buffets.
Yeah, right.
Like you can't get it like to, your little storefront Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
They don't serve the coconut shrimp meal. If they did, I would get it once a week. I go a week. So when I'm in the mood for Chinese food, because most of the time when I eat Chinese food, I'm going to the buffet. So that means with me being diabetic, first of all, I have to control, I have to be ready. So I pre-medicate. I drink lots of water with my meal to cut but I gotta have it, man.
That's your eating a piece right there. That's your eating a piece.
Dude, I'm gonna eat all 10 pieces though.
All 10?
It's no question about it. Like if I get 4 plates, I don't care if I'm going to get ice cream the 4th time. I'm going to have coconut shrimp on the plate with the bowl of ice cream and whatever I get as my dessert. Every time I get up, we go to the buffet on the weekends when they have the all-you-can-eat crab legs. I like crab legs, by the way, too. But every time I go get crab legs, I stop by.
The coconut shrimp.
I gotta have it.
Stop by.
I'll let your boy.
I gotta have. Oh man.
I'll let your boy.
Boy.
You want to buy the coconut shrimp and be like,
Man, if you wanna make me happy, bring me some coconut shrimp and fried rice.
Oh man.
okay, so along the same lines, I believe that Christ is in heaven eating fried chicken. Do you feel like you might be eating coconut shrimp?
Dude, I have a theory. This is not the first time anybody has heard this. You can ask my wife, because I talk to her about this all the time. Ever since we did that study, it was years ago, about heaven is so real, I honestly believe that there are creatures in heaven that are designed just for us to eat.
You mean there might be an Uber chicken?
I believe that there are 3-wing
plus
chickens.
ultra
Listen, yes, a plus ultra chicken. I believe there is a chicken with a 3rd wing. Now,
I'm going. Hallelujah. I'm going.
I believe that it looks like a regular chicken, but there's a 3rd wing on its back that is like the most delicate, juicy piece of the chicken.
Say that. Say that.
You can only find in heaven.
Say that. Wow. Say that.
I believe. I think that was Pastor that told us that they're like the fish that are in the water are pre-seasoned. That you can pick the fish up out of the water and just put it on the grill. You got to add nothing to it, and it just tastes like heaven.
The fish goes, ow.
The fish, but see, no,
It hurts me so
but
good.
think about the thought that's put into this though. Like if the fish is already pre-seasoned, that fish knows its purpose.
It does.
It already knows that when I come along, I'm putting you on the grill, bro.
I've been waiting on you.
I've been waiting. Hey, sir, I've been waiting on you to put me on the grill.
Yes.
Please enjoy the delicacies of my tender meat.
Sir, bite me here. This is the good meat. The good meat is here.
So there was a Simpsons episode where they were in the Garden of Eden.
Wait a minute. This went from us talking about 3-wing chickens and pre-seasoned fish to a Simpsons episode. This is pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. This is going all wrong.
Just saying, you remind me of that episode where there was this talking pig that let Homer take strips of bacon out of him whenever he wanted.
That's real. I know that's real. I know it's real. Oh, Lord.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know what city we're gonna be in, but it's gonna be full of laughter. I already know it is.
Yeah. I do believe.
And 3-wing chickens.
I do believe that we would not have the curse we have in the Middle East if they would eat bacon.
Come on, man.
For real. If we can meet on the battlefield with bacon, it'll make the world better. You hear me? Bacon is the way to the peace. When I say peace offering, they mean bacon. The word comes from bacon. It's derived from the Hebrew word bacon. The Hebrew word for bacon is peace.
A piece of bacon.
Yes. Oh, I am right.
You are Carlos.
I'm going to heaven.
You are Carlos the
I'm
Tank.
going to heaven. But I can eat fried chicken from my God and bacon
At the same time.
and coconut shrimp.
Oh, you know, I just had a most amazing thought. What if you bit into a piece of fried chicken and it tasted like bacon?
Oh Lord! Oh my God!
Can't taste it.
Oh my Lord!
This has become meatless.
Okay, look. That will preach. That will preach. That will preach. Brother, anybody who does not believe will come to God. If you,
Now,
brother,
I have a question. I know this is going to go bad. I know it is, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What if you got on your meeting with Jesus? I believe that all of us are going to have just a day when we get to heaven where we get to spend the whole day with the Lord. He takes you to the banqueting hall. And on your spread, you have all of the foods that you've ever wanted, Carlos. And on the end, he has nuggets. If the Lord put nuggets on your buffet table, would you eat them? Oh man! Oh,
He does not have an answer for this.
especially if they taste like bacon. No, those nuggets are going down, bro.
Oh.
Lord, you can put nuggets on my table.
God will not do
He said, "That's not the God I
That's
serve."
not the God you serve.
that. So no, that's not no.
All right, Devon, it's your turn,
Oh
man.
my gosh.
Your guilty pleasure meal.
My guilty pleasure meal is a simple one. When I definitely feel guilty for eating every time. The Baconator combo.
Oh man.
I deliberately make myself wait until a special occasion. Or if it's just been a long, hard day. On the weekend.
Bruh.
I'm getting all the grease. All the
And
calories.
the Baconator Junior not that much better. If
No,
you're gonna eat that, you might as well get the
I don't
real
even fool.
thing.
I don't even
You're
fool
fool with
the
the
I don't even fool with the
The son
the
Junior.
son of Baconator.
No, son of
Right.
Baconator.
Oh,
I don't fool with the son of bacon. I go
Man,
straight for the daddy.
when the Baconator first came out, bro,
Man, it was the
shameful.
man.
I was eating them like every other time.
I ate the double.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
The double pieces of meat with all that
Yes.
bacon on there.
Yes. You know,
I feel the iniquity. Just
At
going.
what point do you feel it though? Like in the middle?
As soon as I smell it.
As
As soon as
you
smell
can't
it.
feel the iniquity before you
I
indulge.
feel it.
yeah.
That
It's in
defeats
the
the purpose. It's in the atmosphere. Father, forgive me. For I know exactly what I'm about to do to this burger.
Not one piece will be left.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I remember pulling up to the window and the lady asked me, "Do you want the single or the double?" I was like, "Y'all got a single?" Like, I didn't even know it came in a single. No, man. Give me the double.
Oh!
Why you try to catch me out here?
Well, like, man, what you doing?
Oh!
Y'all got singles?
Oh!
Why y'all
Negative.
half stepping out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I'm not be playing with me like that, bro. Give me my double. What you mean by single?
Oh my gosh.
I think the person who came with the Baconator is a Christian. He knows God. He has to know God. He has to know God. He has to know God.
I don't know. I just think he knows the power of bacon.
He knows the flesh. That's what he knows.
He knows what peace comes from. He knows.
The pieces.
The Hebrew word for peace
Oh my
is
God.
bacon.
So on the episode of The Simpsons, was the bacon already cooked? Like he was just peeling off cooked pieces of bacon?
How beautiful
That is
Dude, that made
amazing,
me in
man.
tears, man.
think it was cooked. I don't know. It was years and
Years ago. I'm about to find that
Yeah,
clip.
it was
I'm gonna find
ridiculous.
that.
Yeah, like an English accent with glasses. And
the pig did.
Yeah, he was so polite.
Please, sir, take as much bacon as you like.
Exactly.
Look, I had a student one time. I was having a conversation in class. So I like have all these off color conversations in my class, just to keep it light. So we were talking about bacon one day, and one of my students was going like this. I said, "What's your problem?" He said, "I do not like bacon." I did this. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I gotta take a picture of you because I gotta do a post on you because you're the only human
on this side of the Mason-Dixon line.
Right.
That does not like bacon."
I said, "Do you know that?" I said, "Do you know it's grammatically incorrect to put I do not like bacon in the same sentence? Like you don't even do that. Like that you are the subject and the verb don't agree. You can't do that." So I said,
man, I'm sweating.
I am too. Man.
So I said, I said, you were brought up by your mama and daddy in a house with both parents.
So
and you don't like bacon? Like, how's that happen?
I used to not like bacon as a kid. I used to despise it.
But then you came to the truth, though. You came to a light.
I saw the light.
Yeah.
But why though? Do you know why you didn't like it?
I don't know. It had a weird taste to me. It's like first of all, it's not juicy like chicken.
Yeah.
It's just like flat and crispy.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't know.
Depending on
He's like, yes.
Depending on how you cook it. Yeah.
Yeah, depending on how you cook
it. My kids love bacon, man.
My kids.
Like Addison literally asked me for bacon yesterday.
Yeah.
She's like, "Dad, what are you cooking? It smells like bacon."
Yes.
Like that's what,
bacon.
yeah. Like that's how the conversation started.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, I just made me a bacon sandwich.
Yeah.
Can I have some bacon?"
Please, Father.
Well, please, Father, may I have some bacon?
See, your father said this one time about children. He said, "Children are wise because they just love heaven."
Yeah.
Right? She knows the power of bacon.
Well, okay. Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Let's not run past that statement because when you said that, I had all these images of my son and the things that he's been doing lately. And I'm really trying to see, is that considered wisdom? Because if that's true, then I already know with my sense of humor, I'm going to fit in heaven perfectly.
Yes. But it's wisdom in its infant stage. It's baby wisdom. It'll grow up. And I know, and in its grown stage, it will like bacon.
My son likes bacon now.
See, he knows.
He likes bacon now. That's not what I was concerned about, though.
Okay.
I'm concerned about his penchant for nudity.
What now?
You heard what I said.
He despises clothes.
Okay.
He loves his bacon too much.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And if that's wisdom, then we got some stuff to talk about.
I had a son that was a streaker too. He was a streaker.
It's true.
My oldest son would, if you put his clothes on and get him already ready to go to school, he would break out of those clothes, butt naked, and run through the house laughing. Like it was just folly. Like, I defy you. In my nakedness, I defy you. I will not be chained down by clothing. You will not clothe me.
My son made me fold up like a little girl, running at me full speed in his nakedness. And it's hard because I'm stuck between trying to get you to stop. Yeah. But I don't want you to come near me with that thing. So I'm like, no, wait a minute. Yeah, exactly. We gotta put something on that, brother.
Yeah.
No, you cannot climb on my back.
No, my
No.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh.
He said, I was born this way.
Yeah, well, there's no lie. No lie there.
You and I are the same. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying.
It's not right.
Yeah, it's not right. It's not right.
Like carpet showers. Have you seen that commercial?
What?
I don't know what kind of commercial it is. You're gonna see it now that I mentioned it. But it's like this little fox with glasses on. He's talking to the woman, and she's like, "That's not right." He was like, "No, that's normal. Carpet showers. That's not right." And so it shows a man in the shower, surrounded by carpet, and he's like running his feet in the wet carpet and sliding up and down. What? She was like, "Yeah, that's not right."
Okay.
So my son running around trying to jump on me is equivalent to carpet showers.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've come up with a new term here on Good Medicine. Anything that's not right, we will affectionately refer to it as carpet showers.
Yeah.
That's carpet showers.
Yeah. I'm gonna take this out.
All right, y'all. This has been Tommy Knowles, Devon Armstrong, and Carlos Taylor with another episode of Good Medicine. We're gonna catch y'all next time. Peace.